All right. So now it is 6:10 p.m. in Dubai, and it should be 7:40 in India p.m. in the morning in US, and maybe Singapore. I think 10 p.m. past. So we shall start our topic of discussion. So today is 12th of November 2022. Recently, I'm getting a lot of communications from my higher self, and of course, there are some communications from Babaji and Mataji as well. So it is an important period of time, and that's that is why I asked refer to the Babaji's message received on 8th for our group, what Vidya has channeled and posted into the group. So this is be absolutely important because this is the turning point of all our lives. What the Babaji has mentioned it very clearly. Actually, I never seen such a strong message. Strong means very definitive and confirmed message from Babaji that it will happen and it will. This is a date and this is a thing. And I'm also in my meditation. Also, I'm getting similar message from Babaji and all. It has been. We have been prepared for a much bigger mission. And mission Babaji's mission is that to help the humanity, awaken the humanity, and spread pure love. So it is not anything different mission per se, but the timing and the people that under us we are getting constantly guided by Babaji that it is the time we should have our own, you know, whatever we can effort we can put contribute to help the humanity. And it is also mentioned about that it, with other people's first. So that was, you can see that the passionate selfless service that is being called. So basically, once we go there, then our requirement will be taken care of. But normally we cannot do that. We think that if I concentrate on this, my life will be mess and things like that. So that is the type of reassurance from Babaji is coming, that it is other way around. When we are in the when we joined that the divine mission of Babaji, ours will be taken care of. Not the way we think. Sometimes there are certain type of preparations, and personally also I am also undergoing a lot of things. Those are the processes. Yeah? So this is not the punishment, and it is not necessary this everybody will have a similar process. So don't wait. But to have that higher, uh, if you wanted to make a very tall building, suppose a house you are like to construct, maybe one-story house, their foundation will be small, and if it is a three-story building, it will be different. If it is a 10-story building, then it will be further different. You have to deep much go into the soil to put the pile and things like that. And if it is 50-story building, but Dubai there are quite often 50 plus, those buildings will have a huge, need to go much deeper before the building can go there. So the process I was mentioning about all about that, to make the foundation clear, and so that we can rise to our maximum potential. So the digging up below, going below the level, doesn't mean that you will be there. It is just I'm just understanding wise I'm giving this understanding. So it is a process of that, and so that we can the much taller structure can be developed, same as our own, spiritual mission. And don't think about Babaji's again and again tell, don't think about how to do it. I have a limited resource. I don't know much people, and who will know? And don't bother. Once your intention is there, it will come to you. It is not that you don't have anyone to do that. And even I go to extreme, another extreme, my own experiences. In your lifetime, if you can change just one person, that your life is become successful. Just one. Somebody who was not aware of anything, you transform, make them aware, get into that level of spiritual attainment. So your mission is, in that sense, it will be over. Means worth. Your life has put on worth. So anyway, so that is my view. But it is a very crucial time, and we need to get guidance from our first of all, our own higher self. It will be needed on this journey what we started. Now the time of as Babaji has mentioned, that old way will not come back. The troubles, etc., all of us we faced, that is we left behind. Now what the time is coming, getting prepared for, be prepared. And it is also Babaji has mentioned. I have just made the printout. I read it every day. It's Babaji's message. So, and in the later part, it is written, all of you will have a massive transformation. Be prepared. And also before that, he's saying, do not seek answers from anyone. Look within. So look within means it is your own higher self who will answer all those things. So with that background, I will start today's discussion about, I mentioned many times, I will just, first few things, I will just repeat if somebody is new and just to refresh the memory, that who is this higher self? Higher self is our soul consciousness, our own soul consciousness. And means our physical body, our mind, body, intellect package, or you can say the ego, is our lower self. I already had earlier session explaining what is difference between lower self and higher self. So I think few months back. So now higher self is basically our soul consciousness. And our soul knows everything. It is of course, it is present lifetime, what you have come here for, what is the path we are choosing, where we are going, which direction, and all those kind of things. What are the type of accounts we need to settle, karmic accounts, all these are our soul knows, and accordingly it is creating the scenarios accordingly so that we can do that. And in the last session, the destiny and free will, etc., I mentioned that if you meet somebody and all, that is your destiny, but what do you do after that, that is up to you. The outcome is not fixed, but meeting is fixed. So but you have a free will, how to make use of that, and that is what it is. So the thing is, our higher self is our own soul consciousness. So, and if we can get in touch with our own soul consciousness, then we can get a guidance from our higher self. That is the purpose. So first to question, who is our higher self? That is our own soul consciousness. So this is our own soul. You can say that soul contains the physical body. Body doesn't contain the soul. So that let me be very clear. So means if it is a land, the land contains a building. Building doesn't contain a land. There is it occupies some land, but it doesn't contain it. So land can exist even with or without building. So land is, bigger than the building itself. So as the physical body. If we take the physical body as a building, then the soul is a land where it has developed. It can build up, go on, again, come back, and things like that. So now before going further, I have to remind you about what is the purpose of spirituality. When I start any workshop or anything, with some slide. Recently, we had in California workshop. I will like to show the first slide, that similar slide I have shown in earlier workshops also, so that you will know. Then I will come back that I will link that. So what is the role, exactly role of our higher self and how we have to deal with it. So let me see if I can share that one slide. Can you see the slide? Somebody just unmute and tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ji
Okay.
Guruji.
Good. So this is the slide I presented in California, but similar slide, I just start with that all my workshop just to make the understanding clear. That is, what is spirituality? Means we are following a path of scientific spirituality. It is not to follow any kind of religion, any cult, any kind of imposing something. It is just a matter of understanding what is the spirituality and what path we are following. And so it is inner journey. First line is inner journey from physical body to soul is called spirituality. That's it. It is your journey from your physical body, your experience of the external world towards your internal world, and be connected with the soul. That is your spirituality. So next question is why we need to connect with our soul, because second line says our soul knows everything, having infinite source of joy, love and peace. So that is the reason we need to connect of that. And so love and peace, and it knows everything. Yeah, it knows everything what we need to know. It knows already, and it is having infinite source of joy. So that is the reason we need to connect and get our energy from our inner, from our soul consciousness. Then purpose of spirituality is to establish. So this is important. It is actually our today's topic. Purpose of spirituality is to establish permanent communication with our own soul and obtain guidance at each moment. So now we will discuss detail about how we can communicate with our own soul. But purpose is to connect with our own soul because it is infinite source of joy. It knows everything, and with the love and peace will come from there inside us. When we are connected with our soul, our life becomes joyful no matter what's happening in the external world. So anyway, so the third point, which is purpose of spirituality, is to establish permanent communication with our own soul and obtain guidance at each moment. So that is the thing we'll talk today. Now let me come back to the original screen. Can you see me now? I stopped the presentation. Yeah, okay. So now these first two points, I just already made it clear that it is about that who is our higher self and what is the purpose of such communication. I make it clear. Next is it same as prayer? No. Prayer, we can pray to anyone, even to our higher self. But the prayer is one way. It is not communication. It is just sending some message that, whatever we seek blessing, or we need to know something and we ask for something, these are the prayer. So there is a difference between a prayer and a communication. Prayer is one way. You don't know whether it is received. Of course it is received, but there is no confirmation it is received, or whatever your questions, answers, you may not get. So that is not a communication. This is like a one way. Like if you see that our conventional communication way, the prayer is like a text message. You just send it, but communication like a two-way communication, like you're making a call so that others are responding, and then question, answer, and so it can go further and further. So that is communication. Okay. So now next is about we need to know, because purpose is clear. We need to communicate with our higher self, and we have to establish the communication. So best the living a holistic life or living a higher dimensional life on planet Earth is getting guided by every moment by moment guidance from our own soul. So we have a constant connection like a broadband, and we get connection and we can walk the path on planet Earth with a full awareness. Our soul knows everything, and with that help of our soul, we are aware of many things, and which normally our brain cannot fathom. So we can walk in that awareness, so that why we need to be walking with full of awareness, so that we don't do any further, knowingly, unknowingly, anything we think or say or do, which can bind more karma, and we have to spend time here on to settle them. So if we are in a full of awareness, then this no karma is bound. You are walking with this, with the blissful existence, and full of awareness. That can come only if we are in a constant communication or under direct guidance from our own soul or higher self. Higher self is called our inner guru, because it knows everything. Our past lives, what happened, and all karmic files are known. Everything is known. What is our future? What is going to come? Everything is known to our own soul consciousness. So there cannot be any better guru than our own soul consciousness. So our higher self. External guru's job is just to prepare you spiritually, so that this communication is established. When the communication is established, you are getting direct connection from your inner guru. The external guru's job is over. I'm not saying you have to cut relationship. Means you can still having love and respect, but there is the mission. What is the requirement? That is over. So that is the same thing all the spiritual masters, they are doing. They are teaching different way. Methods may be different, language may be different, of course. They're teaching how to get connected with your own soul consciousness when your inner guru is awakening. Awaken. Awaken means the connection is established, then role of the external guru is over. Then your inner guru takes over and guides you further on your journey. Because you cannot get your physical guru all the time, the near you, or it is not possible to get everything to consult with your own guru. It is practically not possible. So that's where it has to be inner guru when it takes over. That is called self-awakening process. When you are fully established with your communication with your higher self, and that is called self-awakening. Yes, self is S capital. So then it will guide you further onto this. Whatever, there are many experiences you need to have in the post enlightenment. Also, it will guide you there all along. So it will guide you. It will arrange the meeting with higher dimensional masters, etc., etc. What we normally do in our sixth step, expanded awareness state, we do, but that time also we can do. But in general, we can have any type of communication with our own higher self at any time. That I will discuss after after this. Just next point is that. So this purpose is just to establish direct communication and constant guidance receiving from our higher self. That is the purpose of establishing this communication. And where is that higher self? We are in the field of higher self. So we need not to search anywhere. Yeah? Initially, okay, we need to meditate to get connected. So I'm just now going into how to connect. So initially, you need to take your attention inward. Otherwise, you cannot communicate. It is called that the soul communicates with us. It's called whispers from beyond. Like it's a whispering voice sort of thing. Just an analogy. There is nobody is whispering in your ear, but it is just like a similar. To receive the communication that your internal mind has to be quietened. Like mind has to be still. Stillness of the mind need to be there. Stillness of mind means there is no thought in the mind. So I'm getting a lot of questions. I cannot hold much, no thought for a long time and this and that. Don't bother. It is just, if it is reduced, you take your attention inward, that is good enough. Okay. Only thing, you make sure your attention is not going outward. The sensory organs are not keep collecting information, then you will get distracted. And that is the part I have already explained during the session on the silence. Why silence is important. It means external silence is the first step towards the internal silence, which is stillness. So first we have to simply learn how this chattering mind and brain, we have to stop all the inputs from outside and go inward. And that is the conducive thing that we do through meditation. And that is the conducive thing for the communications to happen. Our inner communication, or the communication with our soul consciousness, that happens that time. So in this process, so we need to first, we have to come to that stage where we can go to, of course we are going for the thoughtless state, but don't bother if it is not happening long time and all that. Don't get too much of carried away with this. Even if once your mind is under control, that is the good enough to start the communication. How much time you can hold, that is not that important. That is needed for the enlightenment purposes. Yes, 45 minutes of no thought, that is a different issue. But that also happens through Guru Kripa. So it is no such thing that the fixed rule is this has to happen. But when it has to happen, it will happen. But that doesn't stop you to communicate with your higher self. You need not to be enlightened to get the communication happening. Rather, you can use this communication to grow more into the awareness, and that will lead you to the further enlightenment and beyond. So in this process, first thing, the requirement is to just keep quiet and just take your senses inward, or in other words, you may be meditating in a proper sense, so that your attention is not by who is coming, who is going, or what message has come in my mobile, and all this has to go. If your attention is outside, you cannot communicate with inside. And then with meditation, slow down your chattering mind, the thoughts and all. It takes practice, but all of you are just practicing. I'm sure it is much better than when you have started, for sure. So during that, then this is the requirement for the communication to happen. Initially, you need to meditate to reach there, but later on, when you become practiced and all, you need to sit for separate meditation. It can happen anytime. Even while communicating, talking to someone, you can still connect. But initially, it is difficult. Initially, you cannot operate both. Because that technology is like, internalize things. Like suppose driving. If somebody who is driving for a long time, they need not to concentrate each time that where I have to move my steering and when to put the brake and all. They can talk and still they can drive without any accident. That is internalized. But initially, absolutely no. Initially, when you are learning driving, you have to full focus is on driving, steering, brake, clutch, whatever it is, gears. So everything you have to be fully aware on all those things. So initially you have to be aware that there is no thought coming, etc., or go into the meditation. But later on, when you develop this technique, it can be done at any time. Meditation is no longer at that time a prerequisite. That's what I've given you example of this driving. When one knows the driving and they are already experienced, they can do some other thing in parallel, but driving would not get disturbed. That can go in parallel. So anyway, so now let me come to that the technique part of it. So this initially, when you connect with your higher self, it is you can just you have to ask for it. You have to say, the higher self, I like to communicate with you. It is like a thought. First you come down, put your intention. It is not a thought, intention. that my higher self, I like to communicate with you. And then you wait for some time, keep quiet in your mind. Then some thought will come after that, which will be the answer for that. So you can say that you will get, when you practice, it will be immediate. Immediately you'll get, I mean, it will be very fast communication. But later on, it will be very fast when you practice this. But initially, you just wait few moments that to get something which is coming, that yes, go ahead, but I'm here, or this kind of message you will receive, or you will feel that presence. If you're confused, ask again. So I could not get it. I like to communicate. Are you there? So you can say, then the answer may come yes. So, and for higher self, it is, I never seen a case when anybody is asking and a higher self is not responding. Okay. Maybe we can miss the response, but it is not the happen that it will not at all respond. It will not happen that way. Yes, other higher dimensional masters maybe, but not in case of our own higher self. But we need to first you to start by requesting it, then you will know it all the time. But initially, if you like to take some kind of symbolism as the gesture that is presence, like suddenly will feel a little bit of cold air in your face. It is up to you how you define it. So, and some people, they are different thing, little sound here and some kind of feeling there, or maybe some feeling little bit of heartbeat there, and all these things, different way we can feel that. But and some of them little funny. Some of the sense I invite my higher self as some cartoon character. It comes as a cartoon character and starts speaking. It's up to you how you define it. There is no fixed rule, and there is no such thing that and then you have to have something, some icon. But in case it helps, you can do that. Otherwise, just simply start communicating. Like first phase, you keep your mind as clean as possible without chattering, and then you put that question on and then start communicating. And this kind of communication, that is, it does not, there is no language barrier. You know, you can because it is not a physical, that your higher self can communicate with you at any language or mixed language, or maybe mixed means any kind of colloquial language. Doesn't matter. You know, you will. It is purposes to getting you the message. So don't think that you have to have a certain experience or your mother tongue to communicate. Not necessarily. You know, you can, but there is no such a thing that you have to have communication. Oh, my soul means my mother tongue is needed. Not necessarily. Okay. You can connect with anything, any language, or any time. It will respond to you as long as it is understandable. You know that it is understandable. And which way you wanted to you know address, that is also up to you. You can say my higher self, or you can give any other name, my guide, my inner guru, or anything. It's up to you again. So there is no such thing that you have to have a particular terminology to asking your higher self, hmm, or your soul consciousness, but it will respond to you. The name you give, whatever name you wanted to give. So it will later on, it will be coming and responding you to with that name, or even without that. Again, you can go back. So someday higher self, another day you're saying inner guru, another day you are saying my soul, and so don't think it will feel bad. There is no one to feel bad there. It is up to you how you call. So establish that, and then you go ahead with that communication. So, and it can be like in a different way. When I established communication long back, but when I communicate, it is like a friend. I just communicate. But doesn't matter. You need not to be very much conscious about the language and how you place it and formality and all this. There's nothing, as long as sometimes even the question is forming, I have not asked yet, answer comes, because whatever I'm going to ask, he knows. Okay, the answer comes immediately. So that also happens. So you don't think that answer came, that means I have not asked question how this came, but it can, your intention that it can pick up very fast. You can have within a minute, you can have a lot of communications and things like that. That is what quite possible. So now it is, even though it is not necessary for record all these kind of things, but if you feel that you need to record this, then what you do, my advice will be that you make a voice record. Like you are alone, maybe you close your door so that nobody else is, seeing what is happening, and because you become conscious then. Then whatever question you are asking, you verbalize it. You say it and record it into your mobile. And when you get that answer, you say, I understand you are saying this. Both you record so that you can listen to that later on. So when you need to know what was the communication and all those kind of things. I don't keep any record of that. If I, at any moment, if I'm got maybe something he told, I forget, I ask again and I get it immediately. Okay. Anyway, so that you practice over the period of time, you practice, and then it will be everything. Practice a skill, so practice makes it perfect. Okay. And don't put too much of doubt on yourself, too much of pressure on yourself, or something, and maybe some questions you are asking, but you are not getting proper answer. Then you consider that it may not be time for you to get the answer. Then you ask, is it not the time I should get to know about this? Then yes or no, you will get that also. That part, the why you are not getting certain things. Yeah. And this kind of communication also, you have to, my few tips there means, in this communication, don't go into too much of descriptive type of questions. If you're asking, can you tell me that what is my spiritual condition? It's a vague question. Means it's good. So maybe you'll answer good. Or what is lies ahead in my future? It is also many things lie ahead in your future. So means you should frame the question such a way, then answer can be also given a short and precise. So it should not ask anything which will be very much vague and too much wide open, and then you will yourself will not understand that the answer. So choose your questions with awareness. Be careful that what you are asking, so that you can get proper answer. You can make out of that answer what is meant for that. And as I said, if it is not clear, you can ask that again. So please get me clear. So all this communication, whatever I discussed so far, these are all about thought reading. Just using your own mind space. Keep the mind free. Use your mind to put the intention. Receiving also, same mind space will be used for receiving that message. And that will be your answer. That's how we communicate with our higher self. Yeah. Now, the next point of the discussion is, can we use the same technique to communicate with other masters in higher dimension? The answer is yes. But in this case, to communicating with our other masters in the higher dimension, like we communicate with Babaji or Mataji or any other masters from higher dimension. So that time, or maybe angels and guides. So that time you have to be more, a little bit more formal. Like we cannot just like tu meme and this kind of stuff. So you need to be very polite and with a due gratitude. Then you request for that. In this case, it is not guaranteed that the masters will come all the time. Yeah. So if there is no such reason to come, just for experimentation purposes, masters will not come. Okay. I just wanted to talk to you, so that's why coming. So if there is no such requirement, spiritual requirement, then that masters may not come. It may come. It is up to his or her wish to come. But normally we should not bother them with just for experimenting or trying, or we really don't have anything just to check that whether we can. So that should not be the approach. If you like to get some guidance and advice and things like that, then you can seek the guidance and message will come. So come to you, and end of that, definitely, it may not be that much applicable for your higher self, but conclude that communication when you are communicating with any higher dimensional masters. So thank you very much. I'm grateful that you came today and communicated with me with a deep gratitude. Very respectfully, you close that conversation. So, and with appreciation and gratitude. So, and of course, the pure love in your heart. So that is a requisite for having communication rather than scientific experiment. Let's see whether he comes or she comes when I calling and they don't come. And this approach, attitude, most likely they will not come. Okay. And not only higher dimensional masters, this is the same way we can communicate with our loved ones in the other side who has already crossed over to the other side. We can communicate. But again, this kind of communication needs two willingness from both the side to communicate. If somebody is on the other side and we like to calling somebody, the other side also, the person has to be willing to communicate with us. Like we can give a call to someone, we called, but the call is not received. It is possible. Somebody cannot, it's not necessarily if I call, somebody has to receive the call. So that the other side, the other person may decide not to receive the call. Maybe this is not the time, or there is nothing to discuss, or whatever be the reason. There may not be any reason, just it is not available that time. But in the communication happens in the same way of this, like a thought reading kind of communication, taking attention inward, and then in our mind space we are using it for communicating. So this is how we just communicating with other persons who are already crossed over, no longer in the physical body. We can also communicate this way. All right. So that is about this the communication techniques and how we normally communicate with our own higher self. And the purpose is, I'm just repeating here, to establish something broadband connection with our own higher self. So moment by moment, we can get a guidance. Whatever I'm going to do, just seek advice, say yes, go ahead, and you can do that. And that is a way, that is called living a life. That is living an enlightened life, living a life moment by moment. Let's fully aligned with our soul consciousness or inner guru. Okay. So with this, I'll conclude this learning session. So if there is any question, so I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, Kavita.
नमस्ते गुरुदेव।
नमस्ते।
सर, मुझे पूछना था कि जैसे हम लोग को कैसे पता चलेगा कि हम लोग अपने हायर सेल्फ से बात कर रहे हैं या हम लोग अपने ईगो माइंड से बात कर रहे हैं?
Yeah, no, that is a good question. Initially, when you start communicating, there are few symptoms that you will not understand before. Initially, when you start communicating, check with your own guru, physical guru. Okay. I'm getting these messages. Is it okay? Your few times, maybe 4 or 5 times initially, you need to take advice. And then your guru will tell you, this is coming from your mind, or it is actually your spiritual message you are getting. After that, you will be getting some understanding that which type of messages normally comes from your higher self. Once your guru confirms that, And then you need not to consult your physical guru again. You can if you want a few more, but no need. Then you know that these are the type of messages are coming from your higher self, and these are the type of messages coming from your own ego. But the best thing is that you have to silence your ego. That's why it is important to go into meditative state first. Because unless until we master on our mind, we cannot have that kind of communication. It's always come and interfere into all those things. So that is also true. But to get a confidence on this, you have to initially have to ask your guru, physical guru or spiritual guide, and after that you will know that what is the type of communication is happening. All right. Okay. Chaitali
And so,
wanted to ask something. Yeah.
um,
Okay. Okay.
what kind of messages you are
Kavita, yeah.
getting from Babaji?
No, you have seen some of the messages already posted by, with the similar messages, but Babaji is basically now it is because I'm personally getting guided for something for bigger mission for Babaji. So that is all those things. So that is a guidance I am getting. So and many of the things because I don't think it is important to share here because that is my guidance and it will not be meaningful to you either. But I'm not saying it because of my ego. I'm just saying it is not. I'm not permitted to share all those things. Babaji's permission is needed before I share anything. So, but overall, the purpose is to guide me for others and also who else he is guiding, so that we can establish communication like a network for all over the world. So that we can get that Babaji's bigger mission is successful. Mission is one to help humanity. Yeah. And but some of the things what we got earlier in different message, but Vidya's channel, the message is very clearly given that it is a turning point and it will be in the world. But what was the message? It was came that people who will grow in love and service will flourish and rule the world. Huh? Love has the power to change the world. Always keep others first in everything you do, and the money shall follow. Okay, these are the kind of messages I was getting earlier. Abundance means not only money, it is your inner peace and well-being. That can happen through nourishing your soul with everything it needs on daily basis. All of you are already taught how to do that. That through this group or individually, all this what Babaji's Kriya and everything, you have been already taught how to do that, how to, so nourishing your soul. Now, communication is that end product of that thing, whether you can get guidance so that these practices will help you to get connected and then you take forward from there. So these are the type of messages normally I'm getting the guidance and getting from Babaji in this regard. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Chaitali, God bless you. Chaitali, yes.
Yes, Guruji. I was thinking the same thing. What Kavita ji asks, how I will know that what is my free will and what is my yeah, higher self is saying. In the meantime, earthquake came and it was quite a strong tremor. Twice I felt, and suddenly something. From inside told me we should run to downstairs, and I ran downstairs. All of us ran downstairs, and in the meantime I was listening, and after that I thought, okay, maybe this is my heart self was guiding me to go downstairs right now. I mean, what was that? Because I was not in a mood to go, but suddenly something came and I said, no, I have to go downstairs
Yeah,
now.
correct. No, that is also, I think, this is important point. So I didn't, address it into this session. Something called intuitive guidance, when your soul gives you even without asking.
Okay.
So that is called intuition. I'm talking about the communication. Okay. But you can also, without asking also, you will get some feeling and some message from your higher self.
Okay.
That is called intuitive messages. Through your intuition, you will get that. So that is
Okay.
very correct. Your higher self may be saying now it's time to go
Huh.
and to save yourself. So
Yes.
one of our principle is a protect physically. Yeah. So you remember the 4 points
Yes. Yes.
of how to live in this. So one of them is protect physically. So your physical body, physical entity, or physical things what you have need to be protected physically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why that may be your higher self giving that intuitive message. Hmm.
Yes.
Intuitive message is not a communication one way, like a text, hmm, but it's other way around. You know, prayer is you telling to the higher self, and this is your higher self telling you. Those are coming through intuitive voices, messages, and that is also there to. And as you rightly realize, the part of it, the some of the purpose is to protect you physically,
Mhm.
so that
Okay.
you should not get any harm or anything in this course of what is happening in the external world. Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
All right.
Guruji. Thank you.
God bless you. Yeah. Hari Om, you
Guruji,
wanted to ask? Yeah.
Guruji, just wanted to ask, when Babaji speaks to you, does he tell that I am Babaji speaking, or you come to know through your intuitive this thing that he is Babaji?
You cannot miss it when Babaji is speaking. You cannot miss it. Okay, simply Babaji need not to tell I am Babaji. Okay.
The first time, how did you come to know it is him?
No, no. What time? Initially, he used to come at 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Okay.
when I was just sleeping and all that, but later on, all those things has gone. That it's any time. Hmm. But normally during my meditation, normally Babaji comes and then I can feel his presence, and then communication starts. Then what he wants to say, or sometimes I invite him, sometimes he comes like that,
This one
and give me
question which
some
I was
message.
thinking in my mind,
Yeah.
Guruji. There are some people who invite ki Babaji, I am going to sit for meditation. Please be with me. This is one way of saying. And somebody says, some people say we should not invoke their presence. So, though normally we seek their blessing before we start. But what is the correct? We should
Uh,
follow this thing. Should we invoke?
there is no, there is no fixed rule. As I said, that if you invite and the master, the Babaji has a choice not to appear. It's up to him. Okay. So
Right.
before sitting, I don't think it is necessary.
Okay.
That. But once you meditate, first you go to the meditative awareness mode where the communication can take place. No? Yeah. So we cannot say ki, I called you, you wait till I come to that level, then I start communicating. It is not a good thing to do. Best you first go into meditative state, and then you are aware that there is no external interferences are not bothering you. You are centered, and
Okay.
then you pray that please, Babaji, like to communicate with you.
Hmm.
And there, as I mentioned, there should be some purpose of communication.
Right.
Just I wanted to experience, I check whether you can come or don't come, and all those kind of things. Most likely, will Babaji will not come.
Okay. Thank you so much, Guruji. Wonderful.
All right. Okay. God bless you. Any other question?